Hello everybody, my name is SpeZy, and welcome back to another video. Long time no see, I suppose. I think I say that every time, and I think I say that I say that every time as well. Hope everyone is having a fantastic time. What I wanted to talk about today, was that life can move so quickly. I think there's like so many people in like online communities who think that the situation they're in, like in life, is like forever, you know? And I think that's fair because it's very difficult to have like the foresight to see what's gonna happen to you, and like the places you're gonna go, like in like a few months' time, or in like a year's time, or in like 10 years' time, right? So I think we often get like stuck in a loop of feeling like a bit like feel like we don't have a purpose because we're just like stuck in the place we are. But I wanted to talk about like my entire I mean, I'll do a video at the end of this year talking about my whole year, but I want to focus on like one specific thing, and it's the I left my previous college in December of 2024, which meant I had no education or anything until September of this year. And in the middle of that, I wasn't sure until I actually found the college I found a new, what's it called? Like a new course to go on. There you go. The course I actually liked in the end. I wasn't sure that if I was gonna like go to college again. I thought I might just like get a normal job and just do that for the rest of my life because I wasn't sure that I could really do anything. I just felt a bit useless. So that was me like 6 months ago, and the other day I was talking to my mum, and then she also messaged me because I was talking to her about like stuff I want to do after college, and I was talking about like university and stuff. So she messaged me some university courses she found that related to mine, the college course I'm on. And I just sort of like after a while, because I start reading, what's it about, and some of them do look really interesting. I just sort of sat back and thought how far I've come in the last like 6 months, from and like even less, like from absolutely nothing. Like the direction of my life has changed so much in recent times, and not only that, I haven't had to sacrifice anything. I've had the most success, like, in terms of, like, online, in that time of change, even though I have been busy with other stuff. So, like, I feel like, and that's another thing I want to talk about. I might talk about that later, but also, you don't have to sacrifice one thing and to pursue something else. You can do two things at the same time, and oftentimes it can better you. But I want to talk about that later. But I don't know, and I think there's a lot of people who might need to hear that because, like, you might be able to like relate in like a different aspect. It's like, oh, I can never do this. I'm gonna have to settle for this, and then all of a sudden you find yourself in such a better situation, or maybe it could be a worse situation. But again, that can turn around, right? So I feel like that's just so crazy because I feel like I've had the most change in my life in, the past few months than I've ever had. And I feel like I've also settled so well into college at the moment. Like, I'm really, really happy with that. I've got a lot of things in my life I still want to improve. I'm 18 now. I'm an adult. I want to start feeling more like an adult because I to be honest, I don't at all. I don't know if that's normal, but for me specifically, I really don't. So that's something I want to improve, and maybe that can be a next year thing, but I feel like I'm so proud of like I don't know, the direction of my life is like so turned around in the last we are so back, we are so back, and maybe in like a year it'll be so Jova, but again you can always bring it back. So I don't know, I'm really happy with that, and I honestly struggle to think about that because I'd say I've had a difficult it's been difficult like recently because like I've been so busy with stuff and I've like kind of struggled because I'm just like tired so much, but and it's hard for me to like instantly see the benefits, but I think that's something I'm getting better at, is doing things that are gonna benefit me in the future. So that's good, and I honestly I don't give myself enough credit Because I know that I find things, the most normal of things, more difficult than most. So I know it's even more difficult for me, but I try not to think about it. I don't know. I think I've gotten through it. Quite. I don't know. I think I've done a good job recently, so I'm very proud of that. And I don't know. Maybe it's not. I don't know how fun it is to listen to someone say they're proud of what they've achieved, because if you're sat here thinking, oh, I'm not proud of what I've done, I'd say I couldn't have said that 4 months ago. This is only a very a recent thing, so I don't know. Just if you have your goals, keep working towards them, and don't just give it up because you're not like sure. You just have to keep going. That's what I say, because I definitely could have not tried going to college again after my I wasted, I mean, technically 2 years on my first course, but I took positives from it, because I could have just said, oh, I wasted 2 years, but in reality I think I learned lessons from that period of time, even though it wasn't, it definitely could have been better spent, but I think I definitely learned some lessons from it. So I'm very fine with where I've ended up. Like, I'd do it all again. Let's say. So I don't know. Just focus on the destination, even if the journey to it is rocky, because in terms of where you want to be in life, that's always going to be rocky. It's not going to be perfect. But yeah. The next thing, I might come back to this, but the next thing, what was it? It was, oh yeah, so you don't have to, so obviously recently people know that I've been doing very well in Miracle World time trials, and you'd assume that that's because I'm spending a ridiculous amount of time, which is true, I am spending a ridiculous amount of time, but that time I'm spending is all my free time, but I have a lot less free time than I did, a few months ago, so why is everything better now? I mean, to be fair, the game came out in June, and I wasn't technically at college then, so I did actually have loads of time, but my amount of world records has increased since going to college. I have, I only had one unique world record before I went to college, and now I have 3. How have I had the time? It's just that when you know that you have a limited amount of time for something, and you don't feel like aimless. Does that make sense? So when I wasn't at college, my progression was probably slower because I wasn't taking each session seriously, because I knew I would have so many because I had so much time. But when you set yourself, like, when you have like a limit on things, it does help with your progression, because you're more focused on doing that thing. And that can apply to anything, not just like gaming or anything, where, if you play a game for 10 hours, let's say, you're probably not going to play as well for that whole 10 hours as if, compared to if you've had a decently busy day, you've relaxed for a bit, and you decide you're going to get on for like 3 hours. That 3 hours is probably going to be better than that 10 hours of, nothing. If assuming that 10 hours of nothing, is like, that's the normal, you get loads of 10 hours of nothing, so it's nothing special. That 3 hours is often going to be better. So, and that literally goes for anything. At least in my experience, I think that with time limits, that is just how it works. So that's a thing to note, is that people should be more motivated, I think, because it's something I've only found recently, to do more than one thing at a time, because this morning I got the Boost Cinema record, and I could have maybe kept playing, but I think I personally find that when I've gotten a record, I've peaked. So I thought, you know what, I've wanted to make a commentary video, let's use that energy instead and transfer it to a commentary video. Then I can go, and then I can have a break and go make my lunch, and then I might do something else. And I find days like that, when you have that loads of free time, to be so much better than just playing, because I could have just not, let's say I don't make this video, I don't do other things today, I just play Mario Kart World for 10 hours. That's just so, that doesn't feel right to me. Those types of days, I never go to bed after a day like that going, oh wow, what a well-spent day, But, hopefully when I go to bed tonight, I'm going to think, well, I made a video, I got a world record, I don't know what I'm going to do for the rest of the day, I might make another video. on one of my other channels, but yeah, I might make a video for my football channel, but I'm not too sure yet. I could do that after lunch, and if I go to bed and I'm like, you know, those free things, it's just like, whoa. Let's say, like, okay, I'll make the comparison. Let's say perfectly right, I got 3 world records when I was playing Mario Kart World, right? I don't think that would feel as good. I don't think that would feel nearly as good as if, compared to if I got, if I did, like, 2 different things, right? So, I get 1 world record and I make 2 videos. That's gonna feel better than me getting 3 world records. And that goes the same as the other thing, the other way around. So if I made 3 videos, I don't think I'd feel as good as if I made 2 videos and got on a world record. Like I think the variety, as humans, I think that variety is so important in feeling like a day is complete. Because if you've just done one thing, you're lacking in other aspects, and you can feel like you've, you know, done really well in this one thing, but in everything else, it might feel a bit lackluster. So I don't know. That's one of the things that's kind of been helping, and I still need to improve that. I think I've been known as someone who plays like a lot of different games. So in terms of like playing games, that's you know, something I've done well in. But I think transferring that into the rest of life is actually a really important skill that I'd like probably recommend. Like your days should be filled with different things, because your brain needs variety. Otherwise, you're gonna die. You're not gonna die, but I think it's just more fun. In my opinion, maybe I'm just wrong, and I think fun also leads to you doing better at the things. It's if you're having fun doing something, you're gonna be better at it than if you're not having fun. But I don't know. Yeah, that's just overall my take. Oh, I should have said this at the start. I forgot to say this at the start of the video, damn it. But if you've made it this far, I wanted to get 500 subscribers this year. I made a tweet, and it was like my goals for 2025. And one of them was 500 subscribers. Now, I've achieved some of the goals on there, and I haven't achieved some of the others, but it would be cool to achieve that one, because it was sort of like a high goal. Like, I didn't really have any content plans, but I was like, yeah, I can hit 500. I'm only at like 200, but I can go for 500, sure. So if I actually hit that, that'd be really, really cool. So yeah, and I was talking to one of my IRL friends who I hadn't seen in a while about it, and he was like, how many subs have you got on YouTube? And I was like, nearly 500. He was like, whoa! And I was like, oh yeah, that's like a new thing. So yeah, that'd be cool. I lose this game, by the way. Surprise. So yeah, how did I load up the player? Anyway, thank you all for watching this video. I really hope you enjoyed, hope you learned something. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and goodbye!